Writing auxiliary modules, part 2, this time on Metasploit Minute. Metasploit Minute is brought to you by viewers like you. If you get value from this show and can spare even $1, please consider contributing at metasploitminute.com. Welcome to Metasploit Minute, the breakdown on breaking in. I'm your host, Rob Fuller, but you can call me AUX. Today, we're going to be finishing off or polishing off our module. We started with a basic template from another module. We also got the Wireshark and burp level requests to see how things work. So let's go back to our module and just finish this off. So the first thing that's most important, obviously, is to change the title so it's something that we can actually find. So PHP my admin login utility. And then it doesn't go to the Dolabar CMR, so we change PHP my admin. And then we remove the rest of this. Then we change the author to you, because it's going to be you writing this hopefully in the future. These are the registered options. These options are what show up. And what this is actually a list of options that the user will see. So these are great defaults, but the problem is that it sets these default answers to HTTP default user pass. And I really don't feel like in this particular module that I want any of these defaults there. So I'm going to remove this as a default. And it also makes it a lot easier to read the code. So just removing these defaults in here. And the default URL for ours is /phpMyAdmin. So we're just going to copy out that and put the same thing right here. All right, so we have all the metadata done, and that's the important part. So the next part is getting the token. And as we saw in the request, in the first request, we don't have any cookies set up, obviously, since it's our first time going to this website, but it does send back a number of cookies back to us. Most importantly is this phpMyAdmin token cookie. So if you look in the post request, when we actually log in, it actually has that cookie not only in the cookie value, but also in the submitted form value. This is very important because we have to actually mimic the exact same way a login happens. Now, this is specific to this version of phpMyAdmin. There might be other idiosyncrasies for different versions, and what you do is you test on different versions and make sure they're right, and anything that needs to be tweaked or just removed. Sometimes some of these values don't even have to be there. We're looking through the code, and we really don't need this def run because this defines the run thing to add a slash at the end if there isn't one in our auto response, and we really don't need that. So each user pass automatically sends for every host that logs in the user password to this thing, and it says trying. Okay, that's great. We're going to keep all of that. We're not going to remove any of it. So then we go up to do login. Here's the user. Okay, here's some commenting. Don't need the commenting for now. So the first part is SID token, get SID and token. So in our request, we don't need anything but a token. So I'm just going to remove the get token part of that and get token, and it's going to just return the token. All right, so now we have a function that gets the token. So this sends the request raw and sends our get request, normalizes the URI. That's great. If there's no cookies, gets it. So then this already has this module already has a thing that pulls out the token from the cookie. So we don't have to do much else than just use what's already there. So get cookies match, Now, dull session ID is not what we want. We go back to our burp session and we see that the PHP myadmin token is the token we want because that's what's set here. And we can copy that or we can just type it. So we don't need all this regular expression stuff because it's not based on anything. We need PHP myadmin. ID equals nil. It's just asking if there's anything. So we don't need, well, it just makes sure that M isn't blank. And if M is, it's then 1. Then get the token. So we already did that with the ID portion. So we're going to call this token instead. And we're going to return token. That's it. So for now, we're going to use a block commenting feature to comment out every other piece of this module. Just for now. So we commented everything out. And we just want to make sure that that token actually works. So we do a print status token. Okay. Now we go back into our module and we reload it. Show options. So actually, I'm going to exit and just go back in because we removed all of these. We removed all of these defaults. So that way, the size of my screen, just so that you guys can see it easier, isn't all messed up. So I'm going to go back in and it should automatically reload everything. Okay, so use .star PMA login because it's the only one. See, now this is a lot easier to read. Set our hosts to 10.73.31.155. Set our port to 8080. Show options, and we run it. And it says that there's an array instead of a string. Okay, so we go back in, and we work on this, and figure out why that doesn't work. So let's try .inspect. So .inspect is a way that you can say, hey, what is this thing? And print just as best as it can into a string. All right, so let's reload this module. We don't actually have to type reload. We can rerun it, which will actually reload the module and then run it again. Okay, so it's nil. So something we're doing is messed up. So it's not actually getting the right key back. So it is requesting PHP myadmin. It's sending back a token, but it's not getting anything back. So what I'm thinking is that there might be an index.php somewhere in here that's not working, or something. So request. It doesn't know what the URI is because I'm not giving it the correct URI. So this is actually a variable from the original module had an @ variable. So we can actually use data store target URI for it. Okay. So then we go back. We saved it and we're rerunning it. All right. So undefined local variable get cookies. We don't have to do, because there was something in the module that did get cookies for somehow. So why is that not showing up? Because it's supposed to be part of it. So what I was missing was a res dot, because actually the res is the request variable. So when it did the request, it got back a res object, and I had failed to make sure that this res object was good, was in there as well. So then the token comes back, and now token has is literally a cookie token object match. So what I want to do is figure out how this can how I can actually debug this. And how I do that is with pry. So pry is a module that allows me to actually stop in the middle of an execution of a module and then see what I can see around it. So I'm going to do binding.pry, and hopefully I have pry installed, require pry. Okay, so rerun. So I've rerun this module, and I'm now at the token level. I'm right below it where the binding.pry is. So if I type in token, it shows me that there's match data called token. Then I can do methods minus class.methods, just like we learned earlier. And we can see that there's a bunch of stuff in here. And we can say dot size 1. So there's something in there. Dot string. Okay, and there we go. We see that there is all of the PHP MyAdmin cookies in there. And what we want to do is just extract that token out of there so we can use it and actually get it. So token string dot split, and we want to split it on spaces, so we don't have to do anything. So now we split it on spaces. Now we split it again on an equals, and we want to just split the first one. So split 0 dot split there. So what I've done was take the token, the string for the token, split it, and then took the first array item, and then split that array item on equals. So now I have the equals over there and the token here. And now I just have to split it on the equals, then take the first array, second array item, so that's the actual token, and then we're going to chomp off that semicolon at the end. So we're going to take this, now that we know that works, we're going to copy that out and just put it in our module. So we're going to actually change this to cookies. We're going to change that to cookies. And then we're going to say token equals. And then we're going to do, and every Ruby person on the planet is going to hate me for how I do this, but you know what? It's going to work. So that returns the token. And now we save. Okay, we already saved. We're going to exit our IRB, or pry method, and type rerun, and hopefully we'll get our token out. Yay, we have a token. So now that we have a token, we actually have to do the login portion. So let's look back at our post in here, our request, and the post request is pretty straightforward. The cookie's in there. Now what we can do is we can send this to repeater, hit go, see the response. Now the bad thing about this response is that it's hard to tell if it's an actual login or not success, because for PHP MyAdmin, it 302s you no matter what, and those 302s look almost identical, and it's all based on this token. So since I'm using an old token but a successful login, the root password login, and it's actually showing me that it's a 302, but the token's already been killed, so it's taking me back to the login page. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to go back to our module, and we're going to take our begin block stuff out, and we're going to take our end block commenting out. We're going to move on to the next stage. So print status the token. We're going to remove that just so that we don't have to have it. If SID or token equals nil, we're going to remove the SID portion. If token equals nil, unable to obtain session token. So it's really that easy. What we're doing is just modifying this stuff. Return abort, else vprint session ID, remove that. Okay, so we're on to our next request, and this is the post request. So normalizing URI index.php, that is exactly where we're actually going. So we're going to keep that. This cookie thing is for the SID. Now, I don't know for sure if we need that or not, and we're definitely not going to have a SID. So I don't know if we need this cookie thing yet, so I'm going to comment that out for now. And then our vars post is our token. Oh, look, it actually, for this, it actually has the whole token. So we might go back and just remove this portion. So we're only splitting and getting the first cookie so that our token is actually correct. Our login function is not something we need. We go back to this. So the phpMyAdmin one is one we need. Oh, no, we actually need that. Undo. We need that because we're going to call this phpMyAdmin. So these strings are the things before the equal sign. And just for making it nice and pretty, there it is. So we don't need this login function, but we might need that space. So let's go back and we need phpMyAdmin, PMA user. So PMA user. And it's an underscore PMA password. So we're going to put that underscore back. PMA password. Pretty it up again. So we're going to have to find out what this, there it is. So that token is what we're going to have. So this is another thing we're going to have to parse. And you can see how this can get a little ingrained, right? So we're going to have to pull that token out. And that is in link. So that's part of the data request. All right. So in the magic world of time and TV and amazing stuff, we ran into quite a few snags in getting this module set up, and I'll take you through some of the snags I went through. So in phpMyAdmin, specifically this version, you have to make a request, then get a token from that request, submit your login attempt with that token, and then it gives you this 302. And this 302 is exactly the same, no matter if you log in correctly or not. So we then had to make a third request to get, with all of these tokens and cookies, to get into making sure that this is correct or not. So how we did that is we'll walk you through where we kind of left off. So we submitted our request, the second request, with the token, okay? So we've submitted our request with that token, and then we have to do this check success request. And that check success request we actually made ourselves. So we go up to here, and we're passing the headers. So in these headers, we'll actually put a binding.pry in here so that I can show you how this works. And I'm giving you sort of a preview of it already on the back end, but we're going to rerun this module now that binding.pry is in there. Oop, binding. I can spell. Okay, here we go. Binding.pry. Okay, so if we look at our headers, so that's coming in via that variable. So we look at our headers and we can see that this is a 302, but it's exactly the same all the way through for success or failure, right? So what we have to parse out of there so that we can continue on is where it's going, the location that it's going in, and all of the cookies that it has. So in the response, we have all of these cookies, including their path, HTTP only, settings, and everything like that. but we only really want the cookies. So if we look in here, we make an array, then we parse the array for the set cookie option. Then we say, okay, anything ending in Y with a comma and a space, and you can see back over here there's HTTP only. And the reason why I didn't say HTTP only like this is because it's not case sensitive throughout the whole thing. So here's an all lowercase one, and here's a camel cased one. So this is what breaks up different cookies that we're actually looking for. So we go back, and here's each do set cookie. So this is the cookie. So we're going for each cookie that we're going through. And then we're going, okay, primary cookie equals set cookie.split. So going back over here, you can see that I'm splitting on this semicolon because I don't want the rest of this stuff. So all I want is the actual cookie data, just that part, and then just that part, and then so on and so forth. So I split it out and get the first item in the array, and then add those items, the cookie and its value, to a cookie array. And then I join them back up with the semicolon and space because I'm just pulling out the rest of that garbage. So now all of those cookies are back together, and I'm going to make another request for get, going to the exact location that it specified. So the only difference here is in the location, it has the HTTP // IP address and port and /. So what we're doing is splitting on /, then we're removing the first three items and saying, I want everything other than the first three items, and join them back in together. So if you see over here, I am taking all of this out so that I can just put in the request in the URI. Because the send request CGI option in the HTTP libraries will allow me to do this. And this is Metasploit's libraries. All right, so now that I got a cookie set and I got all of the get parameters set up there, I make the request, and if it returns a page that includes login. Now, the actual logged in page, as you can see here, does not say login anywhere on it. It has log out, it has other things. Now, if there was, this would actually fail if there was a database called login, right? If any of the options in here was login, it would fail, but it doesn't, so we're good. And it'd have to be selective case. So returns false or returns true. If it does include the login, then it's false. If it doesn't, then we've successfully logged in. So let's try it out. We got to remove our binding.pry so we don't have to do that again. Rerun it. Bad login for root blah. So we set our password to the actual one, password. Really good password, by the way. We rerun it. And login successful. Ta-da! We've actually fully made our own Metasploit module now. So go out and try it yourself. Try to make a module that logs into whatever application that you already have. This is great on pen testing, where you can actually pull down a copy of whatever software you're trying to look after, set it up, make a Metasploit module out of it. And the great thing about this, making your own modules about things, is you get all of the awesome abilities that Metasploit's brute forcing module has. So you can use database credentials. You can set threads, so you can thread it out to 100 threads if you want. You can tell it to use a vhost. You can say use a password file or a username file. And the sky's the limit on these options, which is great. That way I don't have to code any of that. All I really have to do is figure out the logic for step 1 through 3 to log in, and then Metasploit does the rest. So tell me what you think at msf@hack5.org, and stay tuned to metasploitminute.com for more shows like these. And a huge thanks to everyone who's supported this show so far. It's been a lot of fun. You can find ways to donate or get awesome Metasploit swag at metasploitminute.com. Every dollar goes to making this show just for you, and for that I'm deeply grateful. So until next time, I'm AUX, and I'll be hacking till the cows come home. Doing it live! God. Hey there, yeah, you. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate all the awesome feedback and support we've received from viewers exactly like you. Well, not as cool, but you know, you get the gist. If we haven't already checked it out, you could really help if you go over to our Patreon and support the show directly. If you can't, that's cool. A simple like or subscribe goes a long way too. Either way, thanks for watching, and we'll talk later, man. Take it easy.